As a currently recovering people pleaser, I am somebody who used to take advice from every single person in my life because I knew that they cared about me. Things like the phrase, your parents know you best, you should listen to your adults, and you should be good, really ingrained themselves in me, and I took that to heart when it came to every single aspect of my life. If there was anything I was ever unsure of, and believe me, I am somebody who's very indecisive, I would seek somebody else's opinion to help me make a decision about something, to know whether the decision I was making was correct, to know whether I was messing things up for myself in a certain aspect of my life, or whatever it might be. I always sought out somebody else's opinion. But as I've grown into the woman I am today, and I have made so many decisions in my life, some that I love, some that I don't really care for, I have noticed the importance of not taking advice from people that are not in places that you want to be in. And I'm talking specifically about career and life advice. A harsh truth that I have had to realize is that most people are okay with being mediocre and living regular lives. And if you're someone who wants something extraordinary, you want a beautiful life that is far from the norm of the everyday, you cannot be taking life advice from these people. And it sounds so terribly harsh, I get it, but how could you take advice from somebody about where you're going if they have never been there? So if you do dream of something bigger for yourself, if you want a life that you are proud of, that you're happy to wake up every day living, buckle up, because today we are going to be talking about the importance of drowning out the noise around you from external factors and sources so that you can actually chase that dream of yours. Hello and welcome to my page. Welcome to my channel. My name is Chelsea. I have been gone for a minute, but I'm back. If you don't know me, I have created a talk show called CTRL+ALT+BEAT that interviews artists and creatives in the city of Toronto about their hopes and dreams, and we have a live audience and they perform on the show, and it's a great thing. Regardless, I digress. I am currently somebody who is building one of my dreams in my life. But before I was an adult who was just doing whatever the heck she wants with her time, I was a student, I was a child, I was a teenager who was really serious about being good and doing the right thing. I wouldn't say a straight A student, but no, not straight A's. I was a good student, though. I was on honor roll. I listened to everybody around me. I did what I was told. I never made any trouble. I never disagreed with people because I was so set on, one, being a good student, being a good person, but also following the advice of my parents and the adults in my life. And in doing so, I got a lot of advice about what the right thing to do was in so many aspects. When it came to the types of friends I should hang around, the types of activities I should be engaging in. But it got to a point where I was getting advice from so many different types of people, and even in my heart, if I knew that I wanted to do something or I didn't want to do something, I felt like I was doing the wrong thing because I wasn't listening to the adults in my life, because I was told that they know what's best for me. And I'm sure if you are also like me, you have been a people pleaser, maybe you're still a recovering people pleaser like I am, you have been told that everybody in your life, or not everyone, but you know that there's people in your life that want good for you. There is no doubt about that. So by default, since they're on the outside of your life and can see things a little bit clearer, or I guess a little bit more objectively, you would take their advice when it came to anything in your life. But I think that's wrong. We all have our own frames of reference. We all have our own experiences with life and with success and with taking risks. And that also applies to your parents or your guardians or people in your life that are older than you that also want good for you. But just because somebody wants good for you does not know they mean... Whoa. But just because somebody wants good for you does not mean that they know what's best for you. There's a difference. Somebody can want good for you because they want you to be happy. They want you to be healthy. They want you to live a good life. They love you. But if there's somebody who in their own life has not taken risks because they were told that they would be unstable in a certain aspect of their life, or they were not somebody who chased their goals because they were told that it was unreliable, they're also going to project those fears and those thoughts onto you. Not because they don't believe you can do something, but because they were told that above all else, they should be seeking stability. They should be listening to other people in their lives because they care about them. But just think about where all of these people would be. If you know anyone in your life who was super talented at something and was super passionate about something and refused to, not refused, but just was, I guess, scared out of chasing after that thing because they were told it's unrealistic or it's not what they're supposed to be doing. Just ask yourself, like, where are they right now and are they happy? Would they have wanted to do something else? Because I know a few people in my life who that is unfortunately the case for. And I don't want that to be me, and I definitely don't want that to be you. I had a mentor a few years ago who I had sought out because she's somebody who's also in the entertainment industry and has been very successful. And I kind of just like loved her style. And on one of our calls, I was asking her about advice for what I should do about a certain situation. I think I was just like, there was a job that I was working at, or I was trying to decide if I should do or whatever it might be. And I was asking her for the answers. I was like, hey girl, like, you're an adult, you've been here. Please, like, tell me what to do. And she's like, well, I can give you advice, but at the end of the day, you need to take what I say with a grain of salt. You need to take what everybody says around you with a grain of salt. Because at the end of the day, we have our own opinions, we have our own thoughts, and you know what's best for you at the end of the day. And that is something that opened my eyes. Because I am somebody who, or I used to be somebody who, if I was told something by somebody that I really look up to, someone that I really admire for what they do, what they say, their mindset, I would take everything they say as truth. And as admirable as it is to get advice from people that you look up to, you have to understand they are their own person with their own thoughts, their own beliefs, their own limiting beliefs at that too. And I felt so thankful to know that somebody that I actually looked up to was not trying to instill all of their thoughts into me and make me a carbon copy of them because they think that's right. But they were somebody who was like, listen, I can tell you what I know from my perspective, but at the end of the day, you need to follow your gut. You need to follow your heart. And I think that's just something that I carry with me throughout everything, especially now when it comes to other people who are not even in those positions giving me advice about anything in life. One moment where I feel like I really understood the importance of trusting my own voice, and I hope you also are there with me as well right now, is when I had graduated high school, I had told people that I was taking a gap year. For context, when I was in high school, I was that person who was doing everything. I was on student council, I was on the rugby team, I did dance, I did theater, I was valedictorian, I did a lot. I was very active in school. And people, I think, expected me to just automatically jump into a program and go to university or college or whatever it might be, because I was just always somebody who was so enthusiastic about school and about learning. And I had decided to take a gap year because there was a program I wanted to do and I didn't get in. And I was like, instead of me rushing to go to school, to go to a school that I didn't really want to go to, because I didn't get into my dream school, I decided to take a gap year because I was like, I know what I want and I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do something else just because I didn't get it right when I wanted to. So I took a gap year. And in deciding this, I had told some of my friends' parents about this. People were asking, of course, you know, when you graduate school, like, oh, what are your plans now? And there was one of my friends who, her dad had told me, like, I should absolutely not take a gap year because I'm not going to want to go back to school. Those were his words. He said, you shouldn't do that. It's not going to be good. You're not going to want to go back to school. And I felt myself in that moment having to almost justify my decision because I was like, listen, I'm somebody who loves learning. I know that I want to go back to school after I graduate high school. I just know that I am somebody who needs a break to, one, just like think about everything, think about what I really want to do. And I also know that I'm somebody who is not going to just jump into something because I am impatient about what I actually want. And I knew the program that I actually wanted to get in, I hadn't gotten in at that point. So instead of me rushing to go to school because I shouldn't be taking a gap year, I paused. And I could have taken his advice because, again, it's not that he didn't care about me. He is coming with his own frame of reference and his own mindset of sometimes people graduate high school and if they don't get going right away, they're not going to go ever at all. And maybe he's somebody like that as well. But knowing myself and knowing what I genuinely want in my life was so... Did you guys hear my stomach get rumbled? Maybe you didn't. Now I'm just distracting myself. But I know what I want in life. For the most part, I know what I want in life. And maybe he was coming with his own frame of reference and his own fears and projecting those onto me and feeling like if I hadn't gone to school in that moment, I would not go back. But needless to say, there's so many other people in our lives that have these experiences with different things. It could be anything. It could be with relationships. It could be with, I don't know, starting a family if that's something you want to do. It could be with moving out. It could be with your career. Whatever it might be, everyone in our life is going to have something to say. Everyone has their own opinions about what is right and what you should do. But at the end of the day, you know what's best for you. And especially if you are somebody who has big goals for yourself, and sometimes it's hard to envision what your life can look like because nobody around you has that exact life. I can say that that's me. Like I can say I'm somebody like that, and maybe you are too if you've clicked on this video, but you can take what people say with a grain of salt. I also know people in my life, other family members, who, when they were young, were told that they should go into this specific career because it's what makes money, because it's what's stable. And guess what? They're not happy. And they are not living the lives that they had envisioned for themselves. And I hate it. I really hate it for them. Because these are people that I think are so full of life, so full of creativity, and could have chosen creative careers. It absolutely probably would have been the harder thing to do. But because they listened to people around them who they were just told to always obey, they ended up in spaces that they weren't necessarily happy with. You have to think about this. Like, ask yourself, in 10 years, do I want to be in this career that my parents told me I should be in? Just because they said it was what was right for me, or it was the right thing to do. And I get it. I'm also somebody who, my parents are immigrants. My family's like, they're all immigrants, and they have made sacrifices for us to be able to be in spaces where we have bigger opportunities, higher standards of living. I completely empathize with that, but I would be doing them a disservice, and I think I would be doing myself a disservice, and you would also be doing yourself a disservice if all of their sacrifices were made for you to live a miserable or mediocre life because you just thought that's what you had to do. This is your life, and if you allow others to steer your ship, you will end up at the wrong destination, at a destination that was maybe meant for them that they weren't courageous enough to take. But only you know what you want in your life, for real, like truthfully. And in order to get there, you have to be able to listen to yourself and listen to your inner voice, and not let external noise completely guide you and dictate you as to where you have to go and what decisions you have to make. Now, I'm not saying to never take advice from people just because they are not exactly in the place that you desire to be in, but I will say that you have to take things with a grain of salt. The other day, actually, now I'm rambling. I apologize. I feel like, no, you know what? I'm not apologizing. It's my YouTube channel and it's my video, and I'm going to say what I want in it because I think it's valuable. The other day, I told my mother that I am going to go on a solo trip at the end of the year. And you know what she said to me? I don't think that's a good idea. And I was like, well, why not? Like, why not? She's like, I don't think you should. Like, it's not good to talk to strangers. If you know anything about me, are you freaking kidding me? That's how you learn in life. My mom is so different from who I am. And I love her down. She's so sweet. But she's also somebody who barely socializes. When she does go outside, she's barely talking to anybody. She is not somebody who takes big risks. And it's fine. We're all different people. And I think that's so fine. She's so happy with that. But imagine if I was younger, or I was somebody who like really valued what she said. And I do value what she says. I will say this, but I think what's important is getting to a point where you can decipher what information is coming from a place of fear, or what advice is coming from a place of fear from someone else's own life, and what is actually useful to you. I would never listen to that. I'm somebody who genuinely desires solo travel because it's not something that I've done before. But what if I decided in that moment, because my mom said it's not a good idea and I shouldn't talk to strangers, to not go on this trip anymore? Who would I be? Now I'm living a life for my mom and not for myself. So anyways, I digress. You know where you want to go in life. Start listening to that. For all of my people pleasers, all of my recovering people pleasers, all of my people that maybe are a little bit indecisive and feel like they need a second opinion to make a good decision in your life, before you take advice from people, at face value. Ask yourself if they are in the places that you desire to be in. And if not, well, maybe just don't take what they say to heart. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a wonderful time. If you stayed until the end, if you are here with me right here in this second, one, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. But also, subscribe. Maybe leave a comment. As you know, I love to yap. I love to chat. So, yeah, just value you. Thank you so much for listening. I believe in you. Stuttering. I believe in you. I'm wishing you endless inspiration and belief in yourself. Have a beautiful day. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.